I'm joined now by CNN legal analyst Shanlon. He's also a former federal prosecutor who specialized in sex crimes. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, glad to be here.
So Harvey Weinstein found guilty on 2 charges, third-degree rape and a criminal sex act in his New York City trial. How significant is this, and could it represent some sort of turning point, do you think?
I think it's a very significant case because prior to the last few years with the METOO movement's notoriety and sort of growing raising of awareness, this is the kind of case which sex crimes prosecutors were worried about taking on. And specifically, they were worried because in at least some of the allegations, there was a continuing relationship with Weinstein even after the assault had occurred. And usually prosecutors were very risk-averse about that. They were afraid that it hurt their ability to prove a lack of consent. But the METOO movement has really grown in awareness of the inequitable balance of power and how predators like Harvey Weinstein may actually overcome a person's consent without the sort of traditional notions of force being involved, but simply by their position in terms of their employment capabilities. Much like the sexual harassment body of law that's grown in the workplace, we're now seeing that it's beyond harassment. It can actually cross the line to sexual assault.
Right, and Weinstein now faces similar charges in California. What would you expect the outcome to be there?
Well, we don't know, at least I don't know exactly the kind of evidence they're going to put on there, but it certainly sounds like the same type of allegations that were proven beyond a reasonable doubt in the New York cases. If I were representing Weinstein, I would be looking to make a deal. I mean, for him at his age, any sentence is going to essentially be a life sentence. And so if they want some chance of him being able to live some portion of his life outside of prison, they're going to have to look to make some kind of deal. It certainly is not in his interest just to continue going to trial after trial and perhaps taking the maximum penalty on each of them.
Weinstein kept insisting he was innocent, his lawyers as well. Do you think in his own mind, given the experience you've had with situations like this and sex crimes, that he truly believes he was innocent, that he wasn't, that it was consensual? Do you think that this is maybe a turning point for a lot of men of his age who really thought that this behavior was acceptable?
I think that's true to some degree. Let me try and dissect that a little bit. I think for true serial predators of the kind that he appears to be, they're very narcissistic, and they always believe that they are right, the rules don't apply to them. So in his mind, I'm sure it's quite likely, I'm not a forensic psychiatrist, but it's quite likely he believes that he didn't do anything wrong, that this is some sort of a trumped-up charge, it's a conspiracy. With regard to its effect on other men, I think that a good man, someone who is of morals, is not going to say, oh gosh, I better stop engaging in predatory behavior, because they're not predators to begin with. But I certainly think that it sends a message to women in the workplace, to our children, that they have the right to be free of any type of behavior which makes them uncomfortable and which can then cross the line with men who are more pre-inclined to become actual predators, that this sends a message, this is illegal, it will not be tolerated. And most importantly, the institutions themselves, large corporations, the entertainment industry, it sends a message to them that this is not going to be tolerated. This is a criminal action, and you cannot in any way enable this kind of behavior in the future. So I think systemically, that's probably the most important message.
Right, so it could represent some sort of wake-up call for some men in positions of power that believe that they can assert that power in certain ways.
That's right, and I think generally the growing awareness has made most men in the workplace more aware of what perhaps 10 years ago they might have thought was something innocent or appropriate, that you have to be more sensitive nowadays, and that's a helpful thing for the healthiness of the workplace.
Shanlon, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Oh, good to be here. Thanks.